All right, so here we are trying to arrange the ferry ride from La Paz to Topolobampo. We found that information online is a little bit scanty and a little bit confused, so we wanted to do a little bit of video here to show you how to do this. It's actually a whole lot simpler than you might imagine, at least for those of you who think everything's going to be difficult. And sometimes things are difficult, but this wasn't really once you got here. There behind us, this is the entrance where we came in. You see our bikes parked there by the guard shack. The guy said, just park your bikes there. I think it was very helpful. He pointed us out exactly where we needed to go. So when we entered there, we just parked there. We crossed the parking lot. We're going to spin around here. And right behind us here is where the TMC office is. And TMC is the ferry that is certainly a lot cheaper. It's 3,400 pesos, gets the motorcycle and rider on the ferry. So two of us is going to be 6,800 pesos.
It's a no-frills ferry ride cargo ship type thing, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's what we've been told. It's mostly trucks and cargo. So there are no cabins. There's seating like you'd find in an inner city bus is what we're told.
And we're told that the ferry ride could last somewhere between 8 and 10 hours, but they're not sure.
Yeah, 7 or 8 hours. Oh, well, that depends.
7 or 8? I heard 8 to 10.
So there's two different ferries. There's the 11 o'clock ferry. It leaves Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 11 o'clock and gets in at, it leaves at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock at night and gets in sometime between 8 and 9 in the morning. So it's 11 or 12-hour ferry overnight. But on Sundays, they also run at 1 p.m. and they get in between 8 and 9 in the evening. So they run faster during the day than they do at night. So keep that in mind. If you don't mind sleeping in your vehicle, so if you've got a truck or overland vehicle, you could sleep on the vehicle, I guess. Or if you're good at sleeping upright in a seat, or you don't mind just crashing on the floor, we'll find out what that looks like when we actually get on the ferry. Then the overnight ferry works just as well for you, I guess. We're not a big fan of arriving at night, but that's just going to work for us. Now the other option, if we pan a little bit farther, down there behind us, that's where the Baja Ferry office is, at the end of that building. And again, they're very friendly. They're a little bit more expensive. 2860 pesos for the motorcycle alone. And then for the driver, off the top of my head, it's between 1,400 and 2,200 pesos, supply and demand. So they've got dynamic pricing. Yeah, great job, Baja Ferries. Jam us.
And then you can get a cabin on that ferry if you're sailing at night. And then it's an additional
2,080
pesos for a cabin.
Gets you the cabin, so it's not per person, it's just for the cabin.
Just for the cabin, and gets you a bathroom and a bunk.
Yeah, you get a couple bunks, a television, a window, and an actual bathroom. They leave Monday to Friday at 1 p.m., arriving at 9. Or on Saturday nights, they leave at 11 p.m., getting in at 8 in the morning. Now, when you come in, so you're going to come in, and this is on the day you're riding, you're going to come in this gate here, and you're going to immediately turn right. And you turn right, and you go over here to the customs office.
Aduana.
Aduana, yes.
Aduana La Paz.
So, we've heard all kinds of stuff in terms of you come in, you get your vehicle weighed. So we reserved our tickets today. We decided to go with TMC. You don't actually pay when you reserve. You pay on the day you arrive. So after you go through customs, then you're going to go to the TMC office and you're going to pay there. Now, for those of you who don't have your TIP, your temporary vehicle import permit, that's okay, because right beside the TMC office is the Bannercito. Yep, there we go. Right here is the Bannercito, and you can get your tip there. Assuming they're open. They're open today, and we confirmed, yes, you can buy your tip there. So for those who didn't get their tips when they first came into the country, tips are available here. Although I'll give you a good tip, get your tip before you come in. See, that's a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna add to this video after we've actually done the experience. So today we just reserved the tickets And on Sunday, we're going to go through the whole process, and we'll update you as to how it went, and we'll show you some pictures of what the TMC ferry looks like. So on the day we were taking the ferry, we pulled into the enter here for cars window, and we're told, nope, that was the wrong one. We had to go in through the truck one. Not that it mattered, because we just made a right turn and went over, but someone got all bent out of shape. We pulled up to this line that we're just pulling away from now. We had to wait there for a while. Don't do what we did and just take off thinking there was nothing to do, because someone yelled at us. Stay there. Wait, someone will come out and they'll check your passport and your tip. Once you're done, then they'll send you on, and you go straight forward here up to the scales. You'll see the yellow and black arrow painted on the concrete there. You just drive right up onto the scales. Someone will be there to meet you. They'll actually measure the length of your bike, and they'll weigh you. They'll give you a slip of paper. You're going to take that slip of paper. You're going to leave the scale. You're going to go back the way you came, which doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense, but this is how it's laid out. And you're going to go to the, in this case, the TMC office to actually pay for your ticket. Remember, we had made reservations, but they hadn't taken payment. They just said, oh yeah, you've got a spot on the ferry. So now that we've got that slip of paper from the weigh scale, we go to the TMC office here. We pay. Once you pay, they give you a receipt and they give you your meal ticket. Now, the next thing you have to do is go up past the scale and loop all the way around through the yard. Don't do what we did and just drive straight across the yard over to the building where the Baja Ferries and the TMC offices are. Someone lost their mind because we drove that way, and that was wrong. Even though it's like 50 yards to go that way and 400 yards to go all the way around, they lost their mind and told us we had to go around. So we drove around in this great big loop, only to come back to basically the same spot almost that we were at. You can see the TMC ticket office right across there. And anyway, so you drive right across the face of where the Baja Ferries, the Bannercito, and the TMC main offices are. You drive all the way down, and you go down to where the ferry is. And when we got there, we figured we'll park where everyone else was parked. So we pulled up right beside the trucks, and we were there for, maybe 2 minutes before somebody said that we shouldn't park there. And that we should move up close to the ferry. When we got on the ferry, there were us, the only two motorcycles. There were about 3 or 4 regular passenger vehicles. And so when the passenger vehicles came, they chased them up and had them park to the right of the entrance to the ferry here. And it made a lot of sense because shortly after we moved, there was this massive ballet of trucks coming on and off the ferry and turning, and we would have been right in the way. It's amazing to watch how the trucks, most of them are backing on or backing off of the ferry. So we parked over here, and despite the fact we were told it was a 1 o'clock departure, I think it was close to 1:45 maybe when we were finally told we could come on to the ferry. And it was 2:30 maybe when the ferry actually departed. So they put us up on the top deck. We waited until the way was clear so we could pull up and get up onto the top deck. And the one thing we didn't really think too hard about, and we should have, is when they finally positioned us, they positioned us in the back corner, which was fine in the sense we were well out of the way, but we were also tucked in way behind a whole bunch of trucks, which meant that when the ferry actually arrived and started unloading, we couldn't get our bikes out for some time. We had to wait until a bunch of the trucks that had basically blocked us in had moved. And had we had enough foresight to position our bikes in a manner that would have allowed us to get off the ferry first, then we would have avoided having to wait in line with a whole bunch of trucks going down the road afterwards. So here we're being guided in. And right there in the far corner, right ahead of us, that's where we should have gone. The ferry wasn't 100% full. There was lots of space left on the ferry. Instead, they tucked us from this position in the far right corner behind a few other trucks. Have to make sure you bring your own cargo straps. They don't provide cargo straps for you, and although we had a very gentle, very smooth sailing across the Sea of Cortez, you may not be so lucky. So we had a bunch of straps that we brought with us, and so we fastened the bikes down on either side and actually to each other, and that was more than enough. You see, they packed the vehicles in here very tight. And here's the looking down on the lower deck. This was the actual seating in the ferry. You'll notice that the lounge here is almost empty. I don't know where all the drivers were. They must have been in their trucks, because we wandered around. We saw a few people. They were actually playing movies in one of the lounges, so that was kind of nice. Got a chance to watch a couple of movies. Here's the cafeteria where the food is. This is the food you get. You get some beans, rice, tortillas. They had some onions and radishes and some limes and some jalapenos chopped up, and some mango juice. So the food wasn't bad. It was pretty basic. And that was it. We pulled in. Like I said, we had to wait till the trucks moved out of the way so we could get ourselves out. And off we went. The path, once you actually got off the ferry, wasn't, I would say, very clearly marked, but it was sufficiently intuitive, and we ended up, you just follow the trucks in front of you because they all seemed to know exactly where they were going. But as we went along, here's where it would have been nice had we got off a little bit ahead of some of the trucks, because we had to wait in line to go through there were two inspection stations. I'm not sure what either of them were for, but when we finally got up to the inspection station, they just waved us through, and we were able to carry on both the first and the second inspection stations. And that was it. The drive, we drove all the way into Los Mochis for a hotel. There's a bunch of different hotels there in Los Mochis, and we drove all the way into town and crashed there for the night. And we ended up getting in probably 10 o'clock-ish, I think, if memory serves correct. By the time we got off the ferry, it wasn't a long drive. Drive into Los Mochis, find the Airbnb we had booked ahead of time, and then got ourselves settled. But that's it. The ferry was fairly simple, fairly straightforward. The seats were comfortable. There was food, and yeah, it wasn't all that bad. It was during the day. If you were doing the overnight one, you might find it a little uncomfortable to be sitting on those seats trying to catch some Z's overnight. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative, and enjoy your trip.